One of the most frustrating things is a smile line. It's also just plainly working with the gel itself. Especially if you are old school liquid and powder, you learned on liquid and powder, and gel was that newfangled weird stuff that kind of came out, and you're like, ugh, it's sticky, it's gooey, it's a mess, and you hate it. The first thing I want to touch with you on is working with the gel. So I'm going to scoop up some pink and just show you a couple of tricks. One of the things that you can do, the hardest thing to do is build an arch, right? We put the gel on and then we're trying to pull it up into the arch, and then the next thing we know we have a bunch of stupid little mountain peaks and we'd like to kick it and we hate gel, right? If you would load your product on one side of the brush, so see how I have all the pink gel on one side and the other side is essentially clean. When I set that down, I'm going to offset my brush so that my little blob of gel is going to be in the center of the nail and roll it off. What do I have right from the get-go? An arch. So all I have to do when I work with that is bring the brush in and just move the product out from the center to create the sides. So rolling it off like that establishes your arch right from the get-go. It gives you the bulk of the product right there in the center where you want it to be. The next thing, if you're not used to working with a gel, is using a really gentle touch. Think about liquid and powder as aerobics. You've got to get things in place right now because it's going to set up on you. You've got to get it done. You've got to be quick, and you've almost got to be a little aggressive, right? Gel does not like to be bossed around. Gel is yoga. You need to chill out, relax, make a gentle suggestion. Liquid and powder likes it a little down and dirty. You got to whip it into shape. Gel, you have to ask nicely. Would you mind moving over to the side a bit? Right? Liquid and powder, it's like, get over to the side. Okay? With gel, it's, oh, would you mind just moving over to the side a touch?
Is this a man versus woman kind of thing?
No, it's a ruler versus whip kind of thing. All right? I'm going to turn this sideways so that you can see how much I connect with the brush. When you're trying to move the gel from one place to the other, you're literally floating in the surface. So see how my brush is connected to the gel but yet not in the gel. And see how happy the gel is with the gentle suggestion to just move on down a little. And you can completely manipulate and move the gel simply with that really gentle touch. You're literally floating in the surface of the gel. The more you work like this, like you're used to with the liquid and powder, you get that. And then we're mad because we don't want that, right? And then we hate gel because it's a sticky, gooey, stupid mess. So if you would just make a gentle suggestion of where you would like to go and stay in contact with the product. So if you need to lift your brush, don't lift it here and make your little Hershey Kiss top. Bring the brush all the way down to the end and pull it off, or float your brush all the way over to the side and pull it off so that you don't get those little lumps. Really, the big giant secret to gel is a gentle touch. The less aggressive you are, the better it listens. Let's scoop this up, roll it off in the center, and let's move it backwards. If you will set your brush in the center of what you want to move it back and touch where you want to go, and just gently float back and forth between those two. See how that gel moved back? Same thing with going forward. Just touch at the center and gently touch out where you want to go, and just slowly move back and forth between the two and float the gel out. And see how that starts to create the arch Really quick and easy. Same thing when you're looking at it down the barrel. If you're looking at the nail down the barrel and it's a little bulky on one side, instead of coming back in at it straight and trying to press it over like you would with liquid and powder, take your brush and float the product over to the side. When you're working on the nail, your brush is literally going to be parallel with the shape you want the nail to finish in. Because how many of you love to file? Right? Okay, you're weird. I'm teasing. So most of us absolutely hate to file. It's ridiculous, it's messy, it's annoying, it takes up time. And we don't like to waste a lot of time with that. So when you're working with the gel, if you would use your brush parallel to the shape you want the nail to finish at all times, in all places, you'll find that your finished nail comes out in that shape. So you have much less filing to do with the gel. Gels should be a very quick, easy file because the mix ratio is correct in the jar. There's no difficulty to it. It's not going to be accidentally too wet. It's not going to be accidentally too dry. It's not going to harden before you got it into place. So as long as you work with it gently and you put the gel into the finished shape you want it to be by adjusting your brush angle, you're going to significantly reduce your file time. Now that you know how to play with it, let's do a smile line. One of the tricks to the smile lines is with your sculpting gels, scoop the white out of the center of the jar. And don't be stingy. Get a good scoop of white and bring it out slow so that it has a tail. Take your little friend string or tail, whatever you want to call him, and draw a smile line. Just go side to center. And that establishes where your smile line is going to be. Now I'm not trying to manipulate the product and figure out where the smile line should be at the same time. I've established it. All I have to do now is manipulate the product to match it. Set that white down and just really gently, almost massage it from side to side in very gentle presses. Notice that I'm not pressing hard enough that my brush is flexing. So I'm literally moving it in that surface and just floating it around, gently requesting, would you mind just tucking up into that corner a smidge? Thank you so much. Coming over to this other side, would you mind just tucking up into that corner? Oh, thank you so much. Just nice, gentle suggestions. And because I've worked with it gently, do you notice that it's not super lumpy like it normally would be at the edges? The trick to gel is the gentle touch. If you feel like it's a little lumpy, you can take your brush in and make sure that the tip of the brush goes up to the smile line and the end of the brush comes off the extension edge, and just gently kind of back and forth float it to go from one side to the other and make a smooth edge. And then come off the end so that you don't create a little mountain peak. One of the easiest ways to clean up the smile line is with a little bit of alcohol. I like something that is lint free so I'm not having to sit there and pick fuzzies. Notice I didn't put alcohol on the whole thing. The reasoning behind that is you want to wipe the brush through the alcohol to clean it off, and then wipe it in one of the dry spots so you're not drenching the nail with alcohol and potentially making the gel bubble because there's so much alcohol in your brush. And you can just come in there and gently just kind of work your brush into the smile line to clean it up. Same thing on the other side, clean it up, dry it off, and gently work into the smile line to clean it up. Once you have your smile line in place, because you're using your brush at the angle you want your nail to finish at, you're going to have that arch. See how you can tell that it's already starting to go towards the arch and it tapers off the extension edge? Therefore, when I put the pink on, it's got that ledge to butt up against on the white. So I only have to lock the white into place for 10 seconds because the pink is going to come right up against it, and then I can fully cure the two at the same time. So then that saves me a little bit of cure time. I have one that already has a smile line cured. I'm going to scoop this pink off and use it. Because I was a nerd and didn't put the new jar of gel in my case. I put the jar that's almost empty. It's always uber smart, right? With the gel, instead of rolling it off right against the smile line, roll it off slightly behind the smile line so that you can come in with your brush and just barely tip it down towards the white and bring the pink forward. If you put the pink right up against the smile line, it's going to be much more difficult to get the angle correct without bringing some of the pink out over the white. When you bring that pink out of the white, inevitably you always end up with a slightly gray line. So by setting it down just a little ways back from the white, you have more room to manipulate the pink up against the white without bringing it over the top. And it allows you to keep that angle with your brush, because normally you would be applying on a client and you can actually adjust the correct angle because you're not trying to let people see without your knuckles in the way. And there's not that dip that you normally have when you work with the gel and then you've got to come back in and fix it, because you've come in and matched the pink to the white without setting the pink right up against it.